Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside the ballpark. My name is NovedPlayer, and welcome to episode 68 of the Noved Notes podcast, where we talk to many different creators and communities inside the platform. I'm your host, and with me today, I have the world creator of a parody of 7 Minutes in Heaven. We have the creator of 7 Minutes in Hell. We have Greg. Greg, how you doing?
Oh, doing all right, doing all right.
Good. So first and foremost, for the general listening audience, what exactly do you do inside of VRChat?
There's a few things I do. Mainly I make worlds when I try to keep updates on 7 Minutes whenever I get the opportunity, and when that's pretty much done, I'm also DJing at Club Fallen as well.
Awesome. So I guess kind of first and foremost to kind of get into it, what exactly got you into VRChat in the first place?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I started out as a little neck arc, just hopping in the public instances and just being a funny little nuisance, playing voice mod sounds of neck arc sounds. And that's how I made friends that way, and then just slowly progressed it into the Hazbin community and a bunch of other communities as well, but mainly the Hazbin community.
Fair enough. No, that's perfectly fine. I would say, so what kind of got you into VRChat? So like, what kind of made you want to start playing VRChat?
Again, it just seems interesting, and slowly but surely I got me a Quest 2 headset and plugged that in and play it that way, and then I made some friends in world building. My first encounter with a world builder was the creator, well, not the creator of the map, but the person who uploaded the map of Downtown City. He's a pretty chill dude, and he taught me what I know about what he knows about the world building, and since then I apply what he taught me, and that's how I made my worlds.
Fair enough. So obviously, when it comes to you and world making, obviously the big one, of course, being the 7 Minutes in Hell. So what kind of inspired you to make this parody world of 7 Minutes in Heaven?
Funny enough, I was with a group on VRChat that had their own Discord called the Helluva Hotel, and we used to do drinking nights. We used to like to go to different game worlds, and one of them we like to go to frequently was 7 Minutes in Heaven. In a lot of ways, we've gone there so frequently, I kind of grew in love with the world. So I submitted a group photo to the creator, and he put it in the world, and I was like, you know what? I want to make my own homage to 7 Minutes in Heaven, but instead of heaven, it's hell.
Oh, fair enough. Well, that's really cool. It's kind of cool to see more people making like parody-esque worlds or worlds themed on a different, I don't want to call it metaverse, I guess universe. Whatever you want to call it, multiverse, whatever. This terminology. Words are hard. But it's really cool that, you kind of essentially decided to make a parody of 7 Minutes in Heaven. So what kind of made you want to theme the world based on like Helluva Boss and like Hazbin Hotel? Because obviously, there's like the normal like origins of hell, versus like Hazbin. I guess was there any other like inspiration when it came to like that, or?
It started out as a hangout world for that friend group, and then just slowly progressed out of that. And well, let's just say, long story short, that friend group disbanded to their own little groups. I don't want to go into too much detail on that one, but otherwise, that I just rebranded it with the 7 Minutes in Hell logo and all that stuff. I try to move it a little bit away. The only resemblance of the Helluva Hotel left is the logo, because I like to pay homage to it. Because, if it wasn't for that group, I would have never made that world. And if it wasn't for my friends, I probably would have never made that world.
Oh, fair enough. Well, that's what's up. I was gonna say because, while you have the 7 Minutes in Hell world, you also do have a retired project, the Broken Angel. Um, so I guess what kind of is the Broken Angel?
It started as my home world because it was my first attempt in world building. In fact, it was also my only attempt to try to film a devlog-esque video. I didn't have any commentary behind it, but it was just me and a little network just showing off my world. It's unlisted, but I do have the playlists publicly available to access on my channel.
Oh, that's cool. I would say, yeah, there's obviously when it comes to world making, there's a lot that goes into it. From like the Blender side or Pro Builder, depending on what you use. There's also the Unity side. There's all the assets and all the not Unity, Udon scripting and all that, depending on how in depth these worlds go into. So I guess kind of to go into your side of things a little bit. What kind of made you like want to make worlds and kind of explore what it's like to world build in VRChat?
Again, mention it was just something I was interested in. Again, originally the Broken Angel was supposed to be my home world, but I decided, like, you know what, I've been expanding it and making the place look bigger because, mind you, this was my first attempt in world building, so my places were a little bit bigger and all that stuff. But I made all that in World Builder. Like, not everything is made with World Builder, but I learned a lot from that first project, and I still appreciate it. It wasn't completely abandoned. I was always using it for Helluva Boss Season 2 premieres, and those were always fun. If you ever been to that world, I always take photos after every event. So that's always a fun thing to do. And you know what? Since season 3 is supposed to be coming and it's supposed to be streaming on Amazon Prime, I'm not too sure how that's going to be going about on that one, to be honest.
Yeah, so it was definitely interesting to see them announce that over at Level Up as well as like on YouTube and stuff. It's definitely crazy to see that Amazon, not only is continuing Hazbin Hotel, but also now putting Helluva Boss on Amazon Prime as well, or Amazon Video. It's definitely a crazy thing and a huge accomplishment for Spindle Horse. To get that going and everything. So it's really cool to see what transpired since like going from YouTube to now. Um, it's definitely a crazy thing. Well, I guess kind of to go back into the world a little bit, because obviously, you had originally published this in 2023. So I guess because you've dealt with some of the changes when it comes to like Unity and SDK changes, in your personal opinion, was there any like struggle kind of going between the SDK versions and the Unity versions and everything else?
There were definitely some struggles, like when it comes to like importing certain assets. Sometimes those assets can break another asset, and it's really stressful. You don't know how many times I have to deal with lightning issues to like certain assets breaking because of a certain shader. It definitely has its hardships and difficulties, but honestly, it's definitely worth it for just for the. What's the word for it? I guess it's definitely worth it for the experience and all that stuff because you learn from all that. To put it bluntly, I guess.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, I'll say because obviously, from 2023 into 2025, with the different Unity versions, a lot of things changing with VRChat and everything. Is there one particular change that you've had that was like a real struggle? Like, can you go more in depth with like maybe one of the times you struggled with dealing with a change in like Unity and SDK stuff?
Um, it's I use ProBuilder and ProGrids, and for a while, since they went from 2019 to like 2020, 2022, for a while I didn't know how to access ProGrids, so I had to use Unity's version of ProGrids, but it's not ProGrids. But I had to eventually look it up on YouTube to find out where to get ProGrids working on the 2022. So yeah, YouTube has been another part of. It's been very helpful when it comes to troubleshooting. That and Discord, and it's good to know people who know what they're doing as well.
Hell yeah, that's what's up. I would say because obviously, with all world creators, there's always something that changes within Unity, whether it's a Unity version or a new VRChat SDK update, and things break. Obviously, not to get topical, but things break, or are discontinued. But it's definitely a never-ending learning process, to say the least, when it comes to world building and maintaining a world. Because I mean, there's over hundreds of worlds uploaded each day, give or take. There's a lot of worlds out there, and for people to maintain those worlds, it takes a lot, to say the least.
It really does.
Well, I guess kind of to go back into 7 Minutes in Hell, because obviously, the world has huge inspirations from Hazbin and Helluva series. So I guess in my own curiosity, what kind of made you decide on like certain aspects of the world, to I guess to be more specific, because obviously you have like your Helluva Boss Hazbin Hotel like stuff going on, but you also do have other things in the world, like movie posters on the walls, and as well as other things. So what kind of made you like what kind of inspired you to design some of the things in the world?
Um, 7 Minutes in Heaven, they were trying to go for an '80s theme. I try to make the posters more like the '80s, the '90s, and the early 2000s to give it more variety.
Fair enough.
And then
Go ahead.
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
And then of course of course I also have like posters from other shows, not just from Hasbin and Helluva. Like I have posters from Glitch Productions. I have a poster from Metal Family. I also have a poster of the Outhouse because a friend of mine is a big fan of the show, and he got me into the show myself. So probably the only Disney poster I'm aware that is in my world.
That's fair. So yeah, Disney is definitely out there when it comes to VRChat. So, um, really, anything animated nowadays is pretty much somewhat in VRChat. So I guess one of the questions I wanted to ask, going into kind of the Hell of a Boss stuff, because obviously with your world, since it's been out for a few years now, it has gained some traction over the years. As we're currently recording this, sitting at about 170,000 plus visits, and almost 7,500 favorites. So I guess in your personal opinion, did you ever think that it would grow to where it is now?
Honestly, no. I honestly thought it was just going to be a little small world that's just for me and my friends to enjoy. Apparently, it got so noticed that the creator of 7 Minutes of Heaven contacted me personally about it, and we met up and we became pretty decent friends.
Oh, fair enough. And that's good, honestly, because sometimes with doing parody worlds, sometimes it can go really south. But I'm glad to hear that it turned out good, to say the least. But but yeah, I would say, and the world is super optimized, obviously, which is nice. I believe, if I remember correctly, I think it's like 35 megabytes sitting, I think. Which is nice. It's a nice, world that people can hang out, have fun, and, kind of, well, have fun. That's what this platform's about at the end of the day.
Pretty much.
So I guess kind of to dive into a little things, because you are also the assistant head of DJs at Club Fallen. So out of curiosity, I guess for the general listening audience, what exactly is Club Fallen?
Club Fallen is a has-been and Helluva theme nightclub run by Sayahime, and I basically am the assistant DJ, and the head DJ is Mr. Meaty Claus. I basically help out the head DJ, and as well as the other DJs. I sometimes work with the schedules, and I sometimes set up their schedules, and of course I also DJ. Like I'm not like a DJ. I just pretty much like to play music. I help out play the music for our dancers. Just recently we had we recently had a prom which maxed out. Like normally we're usually at average from 20 to 40 visits. We literally max out. We had to make a new instance and literally maxed it out to 80. So it was one of the biggest events that we had today.
Hell yeah. No, that's what's up. I'll say, because obviously maxing out instances and having to make a secondary instance, it's not often that happens, but when it does, it is very crazy. You know, lots of people are wanting to get in and, you know, wanting to enjoy what's going on. Well, that's cool. So I guess out of curiosity, when it comes to, you know, all of that, in your personal opinion, what's like one of the most memorable events that you've been a part of when it comes to Club Fallen?
There's definitely a handful. I was part of the Heaven takeover. I decided to just say screw it. I wanted to play as Adam from Hazbin Hotel, and I had a role play as that character, and I even did some fun little performance as Adam. So that was a fun experience.
No, absolutely. So I guess kind of to deep dive a little bit more into Club Fallen. So with, you know, all the stuff going on within Club Fallen, because obviously it is a club, but is there like any other aspects that make it special, or anything that's notable?
I mean, other than club events, they sometimes like to do like fun events, like they'll do drinking events, gaming events. They make sure that it is kept strictly 21 and up, 18 and up if you're in another country, but still, yeah.
No, fair enough. Well, that's what's up. But yeah, I'd say, because obviously, you know, being a part of a community and then being a creator as well, obviously there's a lot of different experiences you've had over the years that you've done this. So I guess one of the, kind of to go back on the creator side of things, kind of to ask the same question, what's like a memory when it comes to like one of your worlds that pretty much stays with you? Like what is like one of the fondest memory you have of like your world?
Just throwing the Helluva Boss events. I have a little theater in the Broken Angel that I built, and I have a microphone, and I just tell everyone how much I appreciate them, and I ask anyone who wants to speak or they want to advertise something. I have a few people advertise their avatars to one of my events, and that was pretty cool. And Lord Pimp was there. Of course, Saya was there. A few known faces in the Hazbin community were there as well. So, hell, I even know a few people that started out as just, you know, your average VRChat user, and now they're like making worlds or making avatars. Mainly making avatars, because if you haven't noticed, the Hazbin community has been exploding with avatars.
Absolutely. No, it's definitely one of the, when it comes to fandom communities in general, um there's a lot of topics I can go down this rabbit hole. So I'll save everyone the time. But when it comes to fandoms, it's usually, at least when it comes to what I've seen over, because I've been around since like 2018. So I will say the most notable ones from then till now, and I'm not counting like this is actual fandoms outside of VRChat that make a huge appearance. Definitely Undertale, definitely is high up there. Anything by Fizzy Pop, Helluva Boss, Hazbin Hotel. I know anything anime. Anything anime.
Of course.
Like that's I know that's a blanket term. But there's
don't forget Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh yeah, that's a whole rabbit hole we will definitely not go down. But gotta keep the podcast TOS friendly.
Of course.
But there's a lot. Video games, anime, cartoons. The list goes on and on. So I guess kind of, for maybe people who are not familiar with the VRChat scene of like the Helluva Boss Hazbin community, what are some of the great things when it comes to that community?
In terms of like Club Fallen, for example, they tend to be a very close-knitted community, similar to how the furry community is. Like, of course, they have their ups and they have their downs, but who doesn't? But we like to talk about basically, anything Hazbin and Helluva, just to put it bluntly and shortly.
Fair. That's the one I forgot. I forgot about the furries. Yes, they dominate this platform. They are like a lot of that's the thing. That's a whole tangent I'm not going to go down. But but when it comes to that, yeah, no, that's definitely one of the top 3, if not the top one specifically. I don't know if I consider them a fandom. I know technically it's considered a fandom, but I'd consider it a culture because, it's different. I might get flagged in the comments for that. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But it's definitely crazy how much like these fandom communities have grown. Which to each their own. It's not everybody's cup of tea, right? But when it comes to VRChat, this place is within reason. It's a place of infinite possibility. Within legal reason. But it's essentially crazy to think about how many people enjoy one person's, well, technically a company now, but originally one person's work, to where it makes a community off it. So to see these communities like, the Helluvaverse community as well as the Undertale community and all these fandoms, it's definitely an amazing thing to see, especially the ones that actively, make VRChat a better place by doing these big events and making these communities and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing to think about at the end of the day. But
of course.
Hello, everyone. Real quick, just want to pause the episode right here. I want to personally thank this month's monthly tippers, Sash Lilik and Lion Turtle. Also, make sure to join the VRC group at noved.6608 and join the Discord because we have so many amazing events coming up this summer that you don't want to miss. I'll be performing over at Vrillium Horizons event on June 14th, which is also my birthday, funny enough. I will also be exhibiting and working over at Project Fest 2025 from June 27th to July 6th, and also exhibiting and DJing at Forhaversadio Cosmico on July 26th and 27th. Of course, as always, if you're coming back to check out some of the other episodes, why not hit that subscribe button? You're already coming back anyway. But with that, let's get back into the episode. Woo! Kind of to dive off community for a second, because obviously when it comes to your stuff, while you may not put out a lot yet, obviously there's some things maybe coming in the future, when it comes to your stuff. So is there any type of teasers that you could like essentially tease any upcoming projects or anything?
I am working on a collab project with a few people. One of them, which is the Hazbin Hotel pilot creator, who's helping me making some of the assets, and then I have let's just say I have an NSFW artist making me some safer work content art for my world as well. And then of course I have a buddy of mine who's helping me out with a bunch of other little details, and then of course I'm making the world. So that's one thing. And then I also have a project I kind of put in the back burner and I want to try to start get finished. This one was something I made just, just to take a break from 7 minutes. I just said, screw it, I want to try to make a church just for the fun of it. And it's not like an ordinary Christian church or anything. This is more like a theme on a certain character, just to be funny.
Oh no. Fair enough. That's what's up. It's great to see that you're, still making stuff and upcoming projects and stuff. It's always good to hear that creators keep going with their stuff. So I guess kind of to touch base on another topic. So when it comes to world creation, what is one piece of advice that you can give to anybody who's interested in creating worlds and, making worlds in general?
The only thing I could truly say is like, I don't know, just make worlds. I mean, there's tutorials out there. You can always ask a world creator. You can ask me. You can ask anyone who knows how to make world building, and we'll be glad to help you out. And I'll try to help out the best I can. I'm not the best teacher, but I will love to help out and see more worlds. I've been known to help out a few people in their worlds, and I try my best.
No, fair enough. I mean, that's what's up. I'll say it's definitely, like I said earlier, it's a infinite possibility place. So people could have ideas and, maybe not have the coding skills for like making it a standalone game, but make it a VRChat game, or any game. But VRChat's better. You should make it in VRChat. Anyways, but yeah. So I guess kind of to go just kind of an overall sense of things, because obviously you've been around for so long. So what is probably one of the most memorable moments in general VRChat sense? What's like one of the most memorable moments you have on this platform?
Ooh, I'm trying to think. There's a lot actually. I mean, besides the friends I made along the way, of course, just messing around. Heck, when back in my old days before I got into world building, like I mentioned before, when I was just a little neck arc, I liked to mess around and just play the little soundboard off of my voice mod, just like and all that stuff. And of course, I was doing that for a while. Then, what inspired me to play, music for people before Club Fallen was just me playing music off of voice mod through from my mic and just entertaining people from the Hazbin world, the old Hazbin world before the other worlds got popular.
No, absolutely. So I guess kind of to go into that a little bit, when it comes to like you playing music and stuff, is there any particular style you do, or is it kind of just whatever feels right?
Just whatever is entertaining. Like sometimes I'll play some rock, some metal, some hip hop, some electronic music, whatever gets people dancing. If I want to get a good laugh, I'll play some meme music as well, just to be funny.
No, fair enough. It's definitely a vast mix when it comes to VRChat DJs. That's why I always am curious as to what their like go to is. Most of them, it just depends on the crowd and stuff, which is totally understandable. But I always like to ask just in case.
Of course.
But I guess kind of to dive back into the world side of things, because obviously with the world itself, it has seen some updates throughout the years, and little things here and there. So I guess kind of from starting from the original state of 7 Minutes in Hell, kind of explain the process of like what made you do some of these updates and how these updates came to be.
When I first started, I was updating them daily before I started releasing the world, and then like when I felt like it was ready. Now, mind you, I matched the exact size of the 7 Minutes in Heaven world before it was changed to something else entirely. But what I ended up doing is I noticed that people were saying that the world was too small, so I just expanded it just a little bit. And then, of course, you had the TV in 7 Minutes in Heaven that doesn't work. It's just a prop, but it's still a nice little prop. But and then I added the Pro TV in my world just to be able to watch all my favorite shows, which is usually the Hazbin, Helluva, AVGN, Helsing, Ultimate Bridge, you name it. I try to add whatever animation shows I enjoy or whatever animation shows that people want to see.
No, definitely. I would say it's definitely a cool thing in that regard because obviously there's so many different amazing shows out there. So to kind of have a place where you can just kind of sit back and watch, it's very nice, especially the YouTube ones. The ones on YouTube that are found on YouTube. YouTube links. Gotta save the copyrights. Anyway, but yeah. but yeah, gotta be careful about them copyrights. But overall it is really cool that, you've kind of created this world and have kept it going for so long. So obviously with your stuff and everything, because you actually have been to some of the Level Up expos where they've done some of the teasers and stuff. So what made you kind of want to go to these expos and like experience it firsthand?
Mainly there for a few reasons. I was there to get an autograph from the cast and to check out their panels and stuff. And honestly, I don't know. I just started filming a bunch of their little premieres here and there, and it started back in like what 2023, and then that got a little bit of decent views, and then last year when I started recording that, and that got more views, and that was still shocking. And I was like, this cannot work for the third time. And of course, I filmed it for the third time. Before I filmed it, someone asked if I was going to film it. I was like, I'll try. And then, lo and behold, bam, 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 bam. One of them gets 100,000 views, and I'm just like, what's going on? What is going on?
People love crowd reaction content, especially with content like that, where it's like brand new premiere or whatever. People will eat that up. And one of the biggest examples, I think, in that case is all of the Nintendo Directs. The Nintendo Directs, especially at the, I believe it's New York, the store in New York, like those ones, bang, all the time. Because people like watching reactions to big announcements. Whether it's, game releases or, show updates. I know Walking Dead for the longest time, they used to have like after, I don't know if it was like after the show panel or whatever, but like it was like every episode. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Someone down in the comments. Talking Dead. Yeah. But they did that. Like people love that type of stuff, because it gives a sense of like connection to the community, even though they're not physically there. Which kind of goes hand in hand with VRChat if you really think about it. Think about it, which is kind of nice content. But yeah, no, it's definitely crazy what people can do together as a community in that sense. And have an amazing time at like Comic Cons and, well, no longer E3. Rest in peace, E3. But
RIP.
All of these, different conventions and places where people that like the same thing can get together and have fun at the end of the day. But yeah, no, it is crazy what people can do and create together and enjoy like with each other. It's really nice. But I guess kind of to go more on the personal side of things, because obviously you've been around for a while, working as a world creator and doing stuff with communities. So I guess kind of in that sense, because you've been around for so long, when it comes from a regular VRChat player perspective, what is something you recommend that people check out as a normal VRChat player?
In terms of worlds, world building,
anything. Just VRChat in general.
Okay. I don't know. I just say go explore worlds, preferably ones that have people in it. Try to avoid the ones with a couple thousand. So like, if you're gonna explore Black Cats, go for like ones that have like maybe 50 to 100 if you're adventurous. Because otherwise, you're gonna run into a lot of characters if you know what I mean.
Nah, go for adventure. You never know. You never know what happens. That's why group moderated instances are a thing. But
True. Thank goodness for that one.
yeah. Oh man. But yeah, no, it's definitely a crazy thing to think about when it comes to VR chat as a spectrum. Because there's a lot. There's a lot to explore and a lot to, kind of learn about, and it can be overwhelming. It can definitely be overwhelming.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
So I guess kind of to because technically there's one section of the world we haven't talked about. Because obviously you are also a part of the creator economy as well. So what kind of made you what kind of like inspired you to use the creator economy for like poster swaps for your world?
Um, it was just the first thing in my mind what I wanted to do. Originally, I wanted to have a tip jar, but I was just like, I was told from facts that it wasn't a good idea, which, from what I was told, those are good ideas, and I might just add a tip jar somewhere in my world. But for now, I just gave people an option to change out the posters. Let's just say, for example, they don't like seeing the SpongeBob movie poster, which is one of our kind of popular choices that people pay 100 VRChat credits for, just to put any image you want. But it's like I'm still trying to mess around with the idea. I'm still trying to see what I can and can't do with the idea. But so far, people have been using it. I learned a lot from messing with the creator economy assets, and let alone Udon Sharp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's definitely a process. I recommend anybody realistically, like, facts, don't shoot me for saying this, like, uh, or anybody from creator economy, don't shoot me for saying this. Honestly, I recommend any world creator. A tip jar is fine. I don't see a problem with having a tip jar, because if they genuinely enjoy your worlds and they're like, yeah, I want to support this creator, but I don't want to do a subscription or anything, doing a tip jar is more than fine. I guess it depends on certain things. Maybe maybe I'm not missing, maybe I'm missing a bigger picture. I'll probably get shot one of these days. But overall, like, having a tip jar, at least in my personal opinion, is very beneficial. I have a tip jar in my world. And I advertise it mid-roll sometimes, but I don't really like go and be like, hey, you should put money in my tip jar. No, I'm not gonna do that. Like, if people go to my world and they enjoy what they see, and they enjoy the podcast, they can. It's a means of, if they want to, it's like, here, there's all that, and then just leave it alone for a while and see what happens. You know, just depends. But
Yeah, funny enough, not to cut you off, but funny
no,
enough, when I was doing when we were doing that creator economy VR chat tour of different worlds, I was into one of your worlds and gave you 150 VR chat creds. I hope I don't know if you noticed that or not.
I to be fair, I didn't check the names, but I did notice a lot of people were very supportive. And a lot of people in the creator economy are there. A lot of them are also well-respected world creators and or avatar creators. Now we have Avatar Marketplace coming out now. That's a whole tangent. I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole,
Oh yeah.
maybe in a future episode we'll cover that with maybe one of the Avatar creators in there. But that's for a future episode. We'll see about that one. But there's a lot when it comes to it. When it comes to creator economy, whether it's worlds or groups, there's a lot of good that can come from it, which is kind of nice, at least in my personal opinion. Why creator economy is still, what's the word? It's still in beta, quote unquote, even though it's more open than it ever has been. Get it, has been, but anyway, Don't shoot me, editor. Anyway, but it's cool to see that it's opening up, to say the least, when it comes to different types of creators. I mean, to be fair, I'm a content creator, and I got accepted in. So, like, I work with communities and all the other stuff, and I have my own community, sure, but my main focus is content. I make content. That's, yeah. So if someone like me could get in, most people, well, a good chunk of people probably could. But and to be fair, VRChat has recognized me on a few different places, and I'm very, very thankful for that. But it's definitely crazy to see how VRChat can help its creators in one way, shape, or another. I know not everyone might not agree with that, especially with recent events, but we'll take what we can get. We'll take what we can get. But yeah, man. So I guess kind of to end things off a little bit, because with everything that you have done, there is a lot. At the end of the day, it's a lot. It can be very tiresome and everything.
Oh yeah.
Leading to, like, time taken off, burnout, whatever the case may be. So out of curiosity, what is a way that you deal with, like, burnout or, needing to take a break from things?
Depends on the burnout. Like, if we're talking about world building burnout, just either work on another project or just take a break from it and hang out with friends, either in VR, IRL, play another video game. Who knows? Just that's pretty much the same thing when it just comes with VRChat in general. Like, if VRChat is stressing you out for whatever reason, just take a break from it. Play another game. Come back whenever you feel mentally well.
No, absolutely. Well, that's what's up, man. So Greg, it was so great to have you on. I hope words are hard. I can't fucking speak today.
Oh, you're telling me.
Oh my lord. But thank you so much for coming on and kind of telling us about what got you started and what kind of made you want to create the worlds. Like, it was really nice to kind of get to know you a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad to be on here, actually.
No problem. Well, I guess before we do end things off, I do want to give you a spot to kind of tell people where they can find you, any links you want in the description, on the screen, all that stuff. But yeah, take it away and tell them where they can find you.
I will be reposting a Discord link to my server as well. I also have the YouTube channel that I mainly post random stuff, but I'm thinking about posting more VRChat related stuff. And I also have a Blue Sky account as well. All my socials are usually located in my world, but I'll also have it linked somewhere in the description down below, if it's possible.
Yeah, of course. All the links will be down in the description below. So make sure to go check out all of Greg's stuff. Yeah. But with that, ladies, gentlemen, everybody inside and outside the ballpark, that has been it for episode 68. Yes, of the Noved Notes podcast. I want to thank you all so much for watching, listening, depending on what platform you're on. Comment down below. Comment down below. This is going to be an interesting one because, you know what? I'll go with this one. Comment down below. What is your favorite Hazbin or Helluva episode? Why not? We'll go that route. Comment down below your favorite Hazbin or Helluva Boss episode, and we'll see what you all enjoy. But, of course, if you're coming back to watch some of the other episodes, why not hit that subscribe button? You're already coming back anyway. But with that, I want to thank you for watching, listening, depending on what platform you're on, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care and peace.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Noved Notes.